Hello, knitters! Happy 2021. Today is January 21st, and I'm coming at you from just in Toronto, Ontario. And yeah, it's Happy New Year. I hope everyone's had a really nice and enjoyable holiday as much as you could. Um, we here are in, we had a really good holiday and Christmas and New Year's. It was really low key because we couldn't do anything, but I was working up until the end of December. And then Christmas was really low key because we didn't go anywhere or do anything the way that we normally do. Usually we have a huge big family gathering and we didn't do anything that scale this year. So it was actually kind of relaxing. And sad because I didn't get to see all the people we usually see. But yeah, that seems so long ago, even though it was only like 3 weeks ago. I don't know, 4 weeks ago that Christmas was. It just seems like that was a lifetime ago. Yeah, so I hope everyone had a happy new year and their 2021 is off to a good start. It's been a weird start. Here in Ontario, we are in another shutdown, and my industry is been told not to work. So my company has been shut down in the department that I'm in, and yeah, I've been home. So that has come with a lot of little home projects like reorganizing. We did a huge reorganization of all of our stuff. Um, it seems like every time there's a shutdown and we're forced to stay home, we move all our furniture around. So that has been fun. We did that all over again. And yeah, we really like this new setup we have. We got a wall mount for the TV's up on the wall, like clearing up some floor space. But that also means I don't have the desk to podcast at. It's in the other room, and then it's facing my bed, and it just doesn't look quite as nice. So I'm sitting on the floor. I've got two dogs beside me. Hopefully they won't be too loud and they won't snore too loud, but who knows? They will probably snore. You might hear them. Um, yeah, so I'm sitting on the floor and doing this, which is pretty cozy. I've got my yarn behind me. Now, the stash has not been as organized as the rest of the house, but it will get there. The stash, I feel like, is a whole other monster of its own because it needs. What I realized when I went through Ravelry was I bought tons of yarn in 2020 that I did not put into Ravelry. So I have like this cube and then this cube and then two below that were all 2020 yarn that were not photographed. They were not recorded into Rav. So I've arranged it where those four cubes need to be photographed and all that stuff. So yeah, that will be my next project, and I have lots of time on my hands because I'm not working. But yeah, that has meant that I have been staying up late and sleeping in, and then walking the dogs and knitting, and that's pretty much it. So I have not finished as much as I thought I would in the amount of time I've had. I have probably spent more time just looking at the news and looking at knitting projects and like looking at Ravelry, and probably the amount of time I spend looking for a project to cast on, I could just work on a whip because we know I have those. So maybe 2021 I will whip down. That's actually one thing I want to talk about. So, one thing I have done as well. Oh, this was really fun. The beginning of January, I got really excited about, 2020 being over. And so I began my bullet journal spread. So I won't go through everything, but one thing I did do that I'm really excited about is Bling Your String on Ravelry. She has a Ravelry group. She's a bag maker. She does a bunch of stuff. I actually do have a bag from her, but it's in the basket that I'm podcasting on. But it's really cute. It's got like chickens and yarn. Anyway, she is a Canadian Ontario maker, and she does this thing every year. This is the first year I'm joining it, and it is called Crafty Bingo. And I know a lot of other people probably do this too, but that's who I found it out from. So you go onto Ravelry, if Ravelry is friendly for you. If not, maybe you can contact Bling Your String, or you could just do this yourself, by yourself. You could just make your own bingo sheet, but with Bling Your String, you can get prizes. So go into Ravelry, go into her group, start here, do the I want to sign up for Bling Your String bingo. In her group, she'll send you a blank bingo card, and then you put in your bingo squares. Let her know that you're done, and then throughout the year, you try to fill your bingo. And at one point during the year, I think in June, she lets you change a couple spaces if you need to. So there's a couple other rules, but all in all, it's create your own adventure. You create your bingo squares, something that's attainable to you that you want to complete. So she said to me, take all the time you need to fill out your squares, and I just filled them out super fast because I was super excited, and now I kind of wish I thought about it a little more, because some of these goals are bigger than I think I'll be able to do, but in June I can reevaluate. And another thing is, I think you can only do it as one project per square. So if you did if you did something that was a colorwork sweater, and one of your squares was do colorwork, and another one of your squares is make a sweater, I don't think you could combine those two with a colorwork sweater. So that being said, what I'm going to do is finish a couple things, see where they fall in my bingo, and then fill out where I think they're gonna go. So this is my I have it as a PDF, but I also wrote it down in my bullet journal. So I'll just show you kind of what I did. So the PDF she sends you says craft at the top, and then it says Colette's free space. So some of the things I wrote was knit a pattern from Ravelry library, make a gift, colorwork project, use stash from before 2020, whatever you want it to be, make something with Advent minis. Now this I wish I had put make something with minis, because I have a lot of minis, not just Advent minis, but I put Advent minis, so that's actually really good too. I gotta peel into that. I'll probably do the Helen Stewart Land of Swedes cowl, because I like that one. Organized stash is one, so once this bad boy is taken care of, I will make that as a bingo square complete. 100 squares on cozy memory blanket. This is something I really want to do this year. I really want to get a little further with my cozy memory, but 100 squares, that's fine. It's totally attainable, right? Do this maybe work on this blanket every Sunday for Scrappy Sunday. That I know Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady, she does Scrappy Sunday, where every Sunday she works on her Scrappy projects. No problem, except for that I couldn't think of another bingo square, so I put 100 squares on Cozy Memory Blanket twice, which means a total of 200 squares on Cozy Memory Blanket. So that's a big project, that's a big one. So we'll see how far I get with that. Finish a baby work in progress, cold weather accessory, finish a whip, child or baby garment, use stash pre-2019, use pattern and yarn kit. I've got tons of pattern and yarn kits. So trying to think of which one to do. I'm ooh, do I do an adult sweater kit that I have? Do I do a baby kit that I have? I'm thinking actually, I'll show you guys this. This is a kit that I got on a sale recently, and it's from Knit in Toronto, which is an amazing store, and they do online curbside pickup, no in-store right now, but if you are looking for a wicked yarn store to shop at, Knit is great, their website's great, and they have tons of their own patterns and kits, including this one. So this is the yarn for this little sweater, fox sweater. It's so cute. And I feel like with yarn this big and huge, this sweater might just like fly off my needles. So I actually think that's a great kit to do. Now, mind you, some of my other squares are like, oh my god, my dog is looking at me like right now. Like, what is that crinkling? I hate this bag. So quietly move it. Okay, so that's kind of the thing. Like, I could do that project, but would that be a baby or child garment, cold weather baby whip, a kit? It could be so many different things. So I'm gonna like finish a bunch of stuff. Maybe what I'll do is just like keep track of what I finished, photograph, and create projects in Ravelry. Keep track of what I finished in 2021 until June, and then see where I want everything to fall in June. So that when we're allowed to bend the rules a bit when Bling Your String tells us, and I think we can like change a couple squares, I will be able to figure out which squares I want to change. I do think the cozy memory blanket square I'll have to change if I can like do that, because I don't think I'll make 200 squares by June. Yeah, so I'm really excited. A lot of the things I put in here though were finish whips or use stash. So that's really good. That's going to hopefully keep me motivated, and it's really just a competition against yourself. So yeah, that's really fun. So I just wanted to show you guys that right off the top. So that's Bling Your String on Ravelry and Crafty Bingo. Also, I'll say that I think you can join at any point in the year. So if you see this later and you want to join, you could join, and maybe you would just make your goals a little bit simpler, like learn color work or make a hat, finish whip, finish whip, finish whip if you're me. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. Okay, so do you guys want to talk about finished projects? I actually, unfortunately, don't have that much to show. I mean, I guess I do, I just don't. I guess I always just wish I had more, but I don't. So I finished socks for my dad that I gave him for Christmas. And he loves them. They're knit out of Regia Perfect. So they're the design line Regia Perfect, and they're just like really boring colors that were like, I think I've shown them on the last podcast. They were like gray, red, gray, blue, white. And that's really cool. He loved them. He loved them so much that he told me he hasn't stopped wearing them. And then one day I saw him, he stopped by and he's like, look, I've still like, I put on these socks all the time. And he's wearing them inside out. So I'm like, oh my god, Dad. So obviously he's not that picky and like fussy, but I'm just like, you're wearing your socks inside out. Oh my god. And they're even ribbed, like they're textured. They're vanilla latte socks. So just like, oh my god. So turns out the men in my life are the most appreciative of my hand knits. My boyfriend loved his socks that he got for his birthday. They were the Scrumptious Pearl socks that were Lucille color. He wears them all the time. I've had to wash them a couple times because I don't trust him to hand wash those. My dad loves his socks. He wears them all the time, so I definitely can see those men having more socks in their future, but it was just really funny. I was like, oh my god, you're so funny. So he loved his socks. I made another pair of socks for my friend. These are the same pattern that I did for my dad's socks, and they're the vanilla latte pattern, and I'm having a blank on the designer, but it's a free pattern and it's super awesome. The other thing about this pattern is it's got different toe instructions. It's just really nice, and like as much it takes me a little longer to knit these with this ribbing detail. It's just a knit 3 purl 1. It takes me a little bit longer to knit them because I can't just do it mindlessly when I'm not looking or in the dark or whatever. So, and then also like when I get to the heel, because this is just a heel flap and gusset, I slog a little bit, but I do love the heel and it's a great fit, especially because I don't know her feet that well. For my socks, I like a Fish Lips Kiss heel or a heel flap and gusset. For my dad's socks, I did also a heel flap and gusset, which was just like a really good heel because it's pretty good to fit most people. Um, and then same with this ribbing was just nice. It's nice and stretchy or whatever. So yeah, I have to give those to her, which is why I'm able to show them on the podcast because I have not given them to her yet because we are at stay-at-home orders, so I have not been able to deliver those to her. But those are her socks. She knows they're gonna come, so she's excited about them. Yeah, I just think like everybody needs something warm and cozy for the winter. By the time they get to her, it'll probably be spring, but whatever. Yeah, those are great. So that is with the color from the yarn is Turtle Pearl Yarns and the color is Trench Coat. And I got that yarn when I lived in Nova Scotia from a yarn store that's no longer in business called Dartmouth Yarns. They had it there and it comes in 2 little skeins. So yeah, I got those there. I still have like a little ball of each foot left. 2 little balls left. So I might make some like shorty socks or something. And yeah, I'm excited about those. So, and did I say the colors Trench Coat in Turtle Pearl Yarns Strike Me Up. Now, Dartmouth Yarns is, oh, I just dropped my microphone. I hope I didn't screw you guys up. Dartmouth Yarns is not open anymore, but Turtle Pearl Yarns is on Etsy. And they have some beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's all Canadian. It's wonderful. So that was a 2020 finish. And now, actually, I might have finished them like the first day of 2021, but I'm counting that as like a 2020 finish. Yeah. So then the next thing I finished, which I've shown you guys this so many times, and I just like do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it. This is why I have so many works in progress because I don't finish anything, and I had such big plans for this, but I just washed it. I just wove in the ends. The reason I stopped knitting on this is because I got to the sleeves that needed color work. But here it is. It's the Sheepish Little Sweater by Melissa Kermer. I'm not going to say her name right, but it's Melissa K. And I'm going to put her name below. But this is all made out of yarn from Estelle Yarns. And it's the Estelle Worsted. And I have to say, it's amazing yarn. I got it all from Creative Yarns, which is my local yarn store here in Toronto. It was so good to work with. So what I really liked about it was that this yarn comes in some beautiful, 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 vibrant colors. When I washed it, I put bounce color catchers in the wash, but I don't know if I even needed them because the color didn't bleed at all. There was no color in the water. So I'll just show you. This is the Estelle Worsted. This is a bad example, but this is the blue I used. So I just used blue, green, black, and white. All the colors are on my Ravelry page as well. So the twist, the vibrant colors, it's just like nicely twisted. It's big enough. It's just like beautiful for color work compared to something like Barocco, which is just like a little bit looser of a twist, a looser ply. This is Barocco here. So I gotta say, like, I will use Estelle Worsted in many more sweaters and baby garments and color work projects to come because the price was good. It's super local to me, and I think it's like the colors are all pretty much the same. The dye lots are pretty close, that kind of stuff. So I have enough yarn to make another one of these sheepish little sweaters, and I'm gonna try to make it in the size up for another baby. But this is it. It's so cute. My color work was nice and loose. I hope it was loose enough, but it looks good. My floats in the back. It's still kind of damp, so I'm trying not to, mess around too much. Yeah, and I just think that this will be like well loved. That's my floats. I gotta say, I'm really bad at like weaving in my ends. I just kind of weave them through and tie them off. Maybe that's what I should have put for one of my bingos, like learn how to weave in ends better, because I kind of suck at that. But yeah, this is it. It's so beautiful. And like, I want one for myself. I want a big person baby sweater. I don't know. So the next one I'm going to do is going to be, I have enough blue for, I have this much blue plus a little bit more of another ball. So I'm going to do blue till the sleeves, start the sheep closer to the top, and then sheep, fence, and then the whole like rest of the body green, because I have a lot more green. I have like this much green plus another whole skein, and then I have enough black and white for some more sheepies. But yeah, this is what the yarn balls look like. It's Estelle worsted, 50% acrylic, 40% wool, 10% nylon. So yeah, I don't know, it was really good. The colors are like codes, kind of. Like they don't just say what the color is. So in my Ravelry, I think I have the codes, but it's really easy to figure out like the colors just based on the colors. So I really enjoyed that. That is the only Estelle that I have in my stash, but that's absolutely a yarn that I will buy in the future. Okay, so that's it for finished objects. I have one more thing, but I'm going to show you next time. I made my boyfriend a hat, but I want to make myself a matching hat, so I'll show you guys that next time. I don't want to get into whips because some of these whips some of the ones I've shown you in the past I haven't really worked on again, but I'll show you, I think that's what I'll do in the future too. I'll just show you what I've worked on so that I'm not showing you the same boring thing that I haven't worked on over and over again. So I will show you this. So one thing I put on my bingo, and I'm going to try to do, and I think I try to do this every year, and I usually get off to a really good start, and then 2 months go by and it just doesn't happen, which is knit one pair of socks every month. So that is my goal this year. Well, my camera seems so backwards. Okay, so this is my first sock for January. I have 10 days to finish the other sock, which will be no problem at all because I just have the foot of the other sock to go. Now, this is with a 6.5 inch leg, cuff included, which is a little bit small for my liking. So the next sock I do for February, I'm going to do a longer leg and cuff, but there's also less days in February. So I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of hoping I don't go back to work right away. Maybe we'll be off work till like second week of February, mid-February, and I'll have a lot of time to knit. I know it seems really bad because a lot of people in my industry are like fighting to go back, and I'm all about it. I think we should be able to do at least curbside. I'm a dog groomer. So it's so funny because in Ontario, the rules are like non-essential businesses can open with curbside pickup. So if you're a clothing store, if you're a yarn store, you can be open with curbside pickup, but not if you're a dog groomer. Even though for like 9 months, dog groomers have been operating with curbside. My company has been. And vets are also operating with curbside. So it kind of seems weird that we're not included in this whole thing, but doesn't really make sense. And I do want to go back to work, but if being home helps the numbers and keeps COVID at bay, then I'm all for it. I just wish our rules were a little bit more clear. But that being said, I'm going to knit my ass off. Even though I've been a bad knitter and I've only gotten 2 things done. these will be done by the next time I talk to you guys. Kitchener on that toe, foot and Kitchener, and this is the Secret Garden colorway by the Cozy Knitter. And I love it. It's so feminine and like gentle and girly, and it really does remind me of like a secret garden. So you'd have like your pretty flowers. Okay, I don't know if there's a way to see this a bit better. You'd have your pretty flowers and your green. Maybe the gray would be like a stone, and the pale white would be more like a fence, and then the pink would be your flowers. I love it. It's so feminine. And I mean, that being said, like, I always think like, oh, I'll just get pink and then my boyfriend won't steal them. No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care the color. He'll still steal them. He'll still steal my socks. I got some pink sandals. He'll throw those on when he needs a quick shoe to go outside. He doesn't care that they're pink. So nothing is sacred, pink or not, which is awesome. But yeah. So that's Secret Garden. And my plan is to make a bunch of socks, put them in a box, do the box of socks cal. Oh, it's not a cal, it's just a box of socks. You just make a bunch of socks in a year, put them in a box, and then at the end of the year, you like open it up, it's Christmas time, you're like, oh my god, and then you have like brand new bunch of socks for the new year. So these, if I can like hold it together, these will go in like a little box. Which I don't have a box, but like these will go somewhere and then I'll have them for like next year. Yeah, but I really like them. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to do one pair of socks per month, and I'm going to try to make it the Cozy Knitter socks because I have so much of her yarn, because her yarn is awesome. So my February socks, and I think I'm going to wind up this mini soon because then it will be ready to go when February hits. This is in the Sweetheart color by the Cozy Knitter, and I just think it's so like, and this is on her Bliss base. I find it so cute for, I don't know, Bliss. I don't know if you need to see all that, but this is so cute for Valentine's. So yeah, we've got some pinks, some blues, some light pink, dark pink, light blue, dark blue. That's really sweet. So that's going to be my February socks once my Secret Garden ones are done. And yeah, I'm excited about that. So we'll see how long I can keep this up with knitting a pair of socks a month with the Cozy Knitter yarn. Maybe next year I'll just do any yarn because I have a lot more yarn for socks than just the Cozy Knitter. So we'll see. I just kind of want to, use a stash. I think that's one thing that I've been really lucky about in 2020 was when things shut down, I had so much stash to turn to that I've had lots to keep me busy. So that's good. And then I also want to show you what I'm doing for the Toronto Knitters Guild. Oh, my microphone dropped again. I'll have to figure out a little better solution for next time, but whatever. The Toronto Knitters Guild, we're doing a knit along for, it's a knitty along because there is a website called Knitty, KINTTY.com. And it's actually great. If you're not a fan of Ravelry, Knitty is a website with free patterns by different designers, different types of patterns, socks, shawls, sweaters, blankets, tons of stuff. So we're doing a knitty along where we are knitting something from the Knitty website. So I picked this pattern called the Paper Moon Socks, and this is actually my first time doing cables, which is something I did not put on my bingo, and I should have, because that would have been a great bingo square. Learn cables. Okay, So these are awesome. They're actually pretty easy, like easier than I thought, because I looked at the pattern and I thought, oh, that's weird. Where's the chart? Yeah, well, I had to click on the thing that said PDF for chart. So I did that, and then I found the chart, and I was like, oh, that looks really difficult. But it's actually just 4-row repeat, free pattern. I think my challenge is just like doing it and like, yeah. Yeah, so these are them. Paper Moon socks. And I'm drawing a blank on the designer name, but I will put that in my show notes and put that on the screen if I can remember. And this is great. I'm using yarn that is from Sweet Georgia. This is her Tough Love sock in the pumpkin color. This is yarn I've had in my stash probably since 2019. So this is actually yarn that would fall on my bingo square category of use yarn pre-2020. Got a nice cable. This is actually a cable going along the top of the foot, and then it'll also go along the side. So we have 4 cable sections. And gotta say, cables are not as tough as I thought they'd be, but I had more of this knit, and then I don't know how I did it, but I had one cable going the wrong way. Don't know what I did, so I had to rip back, and then I had to rip back further because I don't know, I couldn't like grab my stitches properly with ripping back. So yeah, I don't know what I did, but that was definitely user error. But yeah, I've been enjoying these. And one thing I've just found is my I think this is like called the Maker's Keep or something. This is by Coco Knits, and it's a little wrist thing, which I think I'm going to use now when I'm working on these socks. Because one thing I've done is you could do this without a cable needle, but I'm not quite there yet. But since it's like a small yarn, a thin sock yarn, it doesn't have a lot of stiffness to like stay in place if I took 2 stitches off the needle and then picked them up and wrap them over, do the cable. So I've been putting my 2 stitches that I need to on not even on a cable needle because the ones I have are too big, but a darning needle. So usually while I'm working on these, I like lose the darning needle all the time. So I found my Maker's Keep by Coco Knits, Magnetic Maker's Keep or something. So I think having this nearby when I work on these socks will be a lot easier because then I can just like knit, grab that, put it in, and then have it handy. So I do think these socks will get a lot more love soon now that my sheepy sweater's done, and I want to have some more progress to show the Knitters Guild when we have our next Zoom knit along meeting. So that's kind of exciting. Yeah. And another thing I want to say is that yesterday I did have yesterday the Knitters Guild had a meeting because we have our like meetings on Wednesdays, and it's all virtual now. And I want to say, like, that's so cool because I hate that I can't see everybody, but totally understand why we can't see everybody and have things in person. But the guild has really taken this online thing, and it's really nice because it's still nice to have that sense of community. Well, now the guild is more accessible to people who couldn't go to meetings every month in downtown Toronto. It's more accessible for people all over Canada, really. So if you're interested in joining like a group or a guild or something, I think now's the time to check it out virtually if you can. And if it's not something that's in your budget, I know that the Toronto Knitters Guild especially, when you go into like getting your membership, you can also donate money to go towards someone else's membership if they need financial help to get the membership. So if that's something that you need, maybe contact the guild, because I don't know what they have to do to help you with that, but contact the guild if that's something that you need help with for getting a membership. And then I've also heard of a lot of other yarn stores or like dyers or whatever, but communities of yarny people doing like virtual Zooms. So if you can't knit with people right now, which we can't, if you can't see people right now, which we can't, you can virtually see people that you might not have ever seen before, or knitting groups you might not have been able to join before because the distance wasn't something you could do. So that's something kind of cool to think about. So check out if there's a guild near you, or if the Toronto Knitters Guild is one that you'd want to join. I have to say, I've been so excited to join the meetings every month. And yesterday we had the meeting was with a farm, like a sheep farm, called Circle R Farms, and it's in Ontario. But they had a little talk about the sheep, and she had videoed the sheep and had some video clips of them. Oh my god! And my whole family were sitting there watching the video of all the sheep. They're so cool. They're so cute. So yeah, definitely check that out if that's something that you're longing for, is the sense of community right now. Maybe there's some virtual knit nights you can join, or watching podcasts is great too. That's what I like to do. But yeah, maybe there's something. My knitting group has done a couple of virtual knit nights, so maybe now that 2021 is here, we'll get back into that again. But that's really fun. So I think I'm going to leave it here. Kind of a short and sweet podcast, and next time I hope I have more to show you guys. Yeah, so I hope you all have a good, healthy, you stay good, you stay healthy, and happy knitting. We'll talk later. Bye-bye.